All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at some of the top alien videos I think that are out on the internet right now. And I want to do this because there's some people that are actually new to the channel and new to this whole alien UAP phenomena. And I want to be able to at least show them some of this information. They can go back and look in the comments. Now, some of this stuff you guys have seen before, and some of it you haven't, that have actually been into this whole
He looks like
UFO
a spacecraft,
phenomenon
even calling to mind the ones from War of the Worlds.
So what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to expose and show some of these videos and give some of my thoughts on it. And of course, of always, you guys put your thoughts down in the comments below, because some of this stuff is actually fake and then some of it is actually pretty real. It's kind of hard to debunk it, but some of it's not as clear either. So let me go ahead, let me quit my yapping, and let's go ahead and get into some of these videos. Alright guys, so before we jump into these top 5 videos, I wanted to at least show you this particular one. I believe this was from the early 2000s from a guy named, I think it was Bill Paxton, that took this. And of course you see this alien peeping through his window right at the right time, the right moment, and then he kind of shoots off to the right. Now there's several reasons why I wanted to show this to you guys, because one, who has their camera sitting right there in the window, right when the alien's actually peeping up and looking through it? And then two, this being actually looks like the one that Boyd Bushman talked about that he saw at Area 51 and stuff. And I have a video I got coming up about that, because I think they try to discredit him by creating a doll, but this alien's head at least looks something similar to that, if you guys can see those matching pictures and stuff there. But I at least wanted to show this to you guys before we kind of jump into these top 5 videos. All right, y'all, so this number 5 video was apparently an alien being from the future is what he stated in this interview. And the whole interview is like 30-40 minutes long. And he's talking about destruction and all that. And he's actually from the future of humanity. And he's come back to warn us and talk about certain things and destruction of our society. So I'm only suspect of this one because, of course, the black background, he has no clothes or anything on. And then towards the end of the video, he actually attacks the interviewers, which is pretty interesting. But they like torture him throughout the video and stuff, which is kind of interesting. But put your comments down below of what you think about this number 5 video and what you think about this particular alien being portrayed here. Alright guys, this number 4 for me, most people will be familiar with the Alien Autopsy film from the 1990s. I believe this was 1995 when this was actually put out there, and it was actually hosted by Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek The Next Generation. And when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this has got to be real. I mean, just looking at the whole body and the whole structure and everything they did for this. And I believed it, I'm not gonna lie, for the first couple of years, and I was like, wow, this is gonna come out soon. But then later we found out the director came back, I think in the early 2000s, and said that it was a fake and that he actually saw the actual autopsy and wanted to kind of replicate that, and that's kind of why he made this film, which I thought was pretty interesting that he did that, but we never got the original footage that he saw. And then also in there was some people at some point in time talking about some of the material that was captured from the Roswell crash and all that. And then they show this kind of stuff in there. This is some behind the scene footage here. And then they'll show some writing and stuff that's on the side of it, which they probably just saw and try to replicate it. But that's why I put this out here as number 4. So put your comments down below of what you think about this number 4. All right, guys, this next one's actually one of my favorites. This was one apparently taken from the 40s or 50s, and basically alleged race of aliens came down and visited the KGB, and they actually met up with these particular alien beings. And this is kind of where the term Skinny Bob came from, and these Ebian type of alien beings. But this was one of the more realistic ones that I've seen. I mean, just the way this Skinny Bob character kind of moves through and blinks his eyes and stuff. I personally do believe this is authentic footage. A lot of people are going to disagree with it, which is fine. Put that down in the comments, but this was one of my favorite ones to actually see. And I probably look at this video probably once every month or something just to review through some of the information here. But this was number 3 for me. Like I said, I do believe that this is actually real, but you guys may not. So put that down below in the comments why you think it is real or why you think it's not real. Now, number 2 comes from a lady named Dorothy Isaac. So I got a full video coming up on her because she recorded a lot of stuff, a lot of UFO videos. She was actually communicating with them from what she's stating in a lot of her videos, and there's documentary stuff about her as well. And she's got photos and tons of videos. Although it was taken with like an 8mm camera, she still has some pretty amazing footage. And one of the reasons why I put her as top number 2 in this video was because she actually has footage of communicating with one of the crafts that she saw, and she saw some beings in there, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And she actually asked them to actually turn off the light so she could see them. And what you're seeing here is actual footage from that. And I know it's kind of hard to believe because it's distorted and blurry, but the beings actually turn their heads and actually look over at her. And at the time this was actually filmed, they did analyze it and they saw that it wasn't fake or anything. So I do have a full video coming up on this, but I put this as my top 2 because she actually filmed these particular beings inside of a craft. All right, y'all, my number 1 pick is going to be this 2007 video footage from a Turkish night guard. Now, when this came out, this was actually really big back then, and it's probably still being talked about nowadays. Now, some people have took this video and they've cleaned it up and they tried to debunk it, but to my knowledge, it hasn't been debunked as being falsified or fake or anything. And clearly in this video, you see him actually recording this UFO in the air. And then he zooms in. I'm going to slow it down just so you guys can see this. He zooms in and you see some beings actually walking around inside the craft. Now, there's a lot of videos out here on YouTube that actually broke this down. They try to zoom in on it. They try to clear it up, try to brighten it up. And like I said, from my knowledge, this hasn't been debunked as being fake or anything. But if it has, put it down in the comments below, guys, because I put stuff out here like this for all of us together, so those that may have knowledge or information can actually give it to those that are maybe new to this whole UFO thing that we're actually trying to discover and get disclosure on. Or if it still hasn't been debunked yet, put that down there too, because it's going to help us to put this kind of in our archives as real or not being real, and we can kind of move forward with things. So this was why this was one of my top ones, just because of filming the craft and actually getting in and getting a clearer picture of particular alien beings and stuff walking around inside the craft. All right, y'all, so before we end this real quick, there is an honorable mention in this particular video here. Apparently there was an alien at Area 51. They were doing an interview on him. The alien kind of passed out and they went in, and you see doctors and stuff trying to give him CPR and stuff, but his eyes never blink and you just see his head moving. So I had to show this to you guys. But anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, put your comments down below, and then stay tuned for the next video. Thanks guys for watching.
you.